Wow, Denver just sent a serious message to the rest of the NFL. The Broncos front office looks locked in, and general manager George Paton believes this could be his best draft yet with the team. And that says a lot, considering how strong their recent drafts have been. Let's break it all down. Right off the top, one of the biggest reasons for optimism in Denver is the chemistry between the head coach and GM. That bond can make or break a franchise. We've seen what happens when there's friction at the top. It can derail an entire season. But that's not the case here. These two are completely in sync, and it shows. They're practically glued together during film sessions. There's even a funny story about Sean Payton accidentally drinking from Peyton's water bottle. But what really stands out is how much they genuinely enjoy the process. Sean Payton talked about how he wishes there were more hours in the day to prepare for the draft. You could see the excitement, even through a boring Zoom call. For him, draft prep is like being a kid at a sleepover, staying up late, hyped on sugar, and gaming with your best friends. That's the energy he brings to this. And it's not just about enjoying the grind. They've already tackled one of the toughest jobs in football, drafting a quarterback. Taking one with the 12th overall pick, especially as the 6th quarterback off the board, isn't easy. But it's done, and you can see the weight lifted off their shoulders. George Paton didn't hold back either. He flat out said they're not trying to hide expectations. This is their third draft working together, and according to him, they've never been more aligned. He even said he's never felt more prepared for a draft than he does right now. Think about what that means. Last year, they had 5 rookies playing in a playoff game. If they get even 3 key contributors out of this class, it's a win. But Paton is saying this draft could be even better. That's huge. And here's the thing, if they didn't believe in this group, there'd be no reason to raise expectations. But the fact that they're setting the bar this high, that tells you everything you need to know. On their draft board, the Broncos are doing something pretty smart. Almost every prospect they're targeting seems to have some connection to a player or coach already in the building. For example, if they're considering a defensive lineman from Oregon, they'll call up Bo Nix for insight. Looking at LSU talent, they'll reach out to someone like Bo Landry. It's clear they're using every resource they've got. And Sean Payton, he's completely in his element. This whole setup is wild to think about. Sean Payton swapping water bottles, working the phones, and loving every second of the draft process. The energy is high, and if this is any sign of what's to come, Denver might just crush this draft. Now let's take a closer look at some of the comments made leading up to the draft and try to figure out what's real and what might be a smokescreen. If there's one thing Payton is known for, it's playing mind games with the rest of the league. He'll say one thing, do another, and keep everyone guessing. Just like last year, after drafting Bo Nix, he admitted most of the pre-draft talk was all for show, just to make sure Nix would fall into their lap. So let's unpack a few statements from this year and break down what might be true and what could be part of Payton's plan to outsmart the competition. Statement number 1. Payton said this year's draft is full of talented running backs. Now, that could mean he's being honest. Maybe the Broncos aren't planning to use a high pick on a running back, knowing there's great value in the 2nd or 3rd round. But on the flip side, what if it's just another smokescreen? What if he's trying to lower expectations while secretly planning to trade up for a top-tier back like Ashton Jeanty? That's the game. Statement number 2. When asked about wide receivers, the Broncos front office responded confidently. They said they're very happy with the current group. They pointed to Marvin Mims' big leap in development and expect similar progress from other young receivers like Deion and Troy Franklin. If you take that at face value, it sounds like they're staying put at wide receiver. But then again, could that be a setup? Saying they're satisfied might help a top receiver, someone like Tetairoa McMillan, Troy Franklin, or even Luther Burden, fall right into their range at pick 20. So, is it truth or strategy? Statement number 3. George Paton mentioned he sees similar value in picks 10 and 20. On the surface, that suggests Denver is content staying at 20 and doesn't feel pressure to trade up. But is that really what's going on? Or could it be a clever move to downplay their interest in climbing the board, only to strike a last-minute deal and jump into the top 10? Hard to say, but it definitely adds an interesting layer. One of the most eye-opening moments from the press conference came from a direct and well-researched question. A reporter asked Sean Payton and George Paton about their views on drafting a running back in the 1st round. He pointed out that Sean has done it twice, while George has never done it. Payton's response? He laughed, paused, and asked, "I've done that twice?" as if he needed a reminder. He mentioned Mark Ingram, and the reporter had to jog his memory about Reggie Bush, who went number 1, second overall. That small hesitation spoke volumes. Now, maybe it's reading too much into a quick moment, but it kind of felt like Peyton was stalling, like he knew the Broncos could be targeting a running back early and needed a second to figure out how to throw people off the trail. It was the kind of reaction you'd expect from someone trying to hide a surprise. Not saying he was lying, just playing the game. Despite that, both Peyton and Peyton gave a clear answer. If the right player is there, someone truly special, like an Adrian Peterson or a Reggie Bush, you don't hesitate. You take them, even in the first round. So while they're not outright saying they'll take a running back early, they're definitely not ruling it out if the right name is on the board. Another big reveal from that press conference, Denver has talked to almost every GM in the league. They've built relationships, and most importantly, they have a plan. For every possible scenario on draft night, they know what they'll do. If their top guy is off the board when their pick comes up, they're ready to pivot. They've built exit strategies for every round. This level of preparation is rare. Peyton and Peyton are locked in. They're on the same page, and that matters. Just look at the track record. George Payton has pulled off late-round steals like Quinn Miners, Jonathan Cooper, and Nick Bonitto. And let's not forget he landed their quarterback at pick number 12. Bottom line, this front office isn't just guessing, they're strategizing. They won't overreach. They won't panic. If a player isn't worth the pick, they'll move back and play the board smartly. Broncos fans have a lot to be excited about. This team is serious about winning the draft, and they're backing it up with next-level planning. Watching Trevayon Henderson's highlights is like watching a cheat code in real life. He made defenders from powerhouse schools, Texas, Oregon, Tennessee, even Michigan, look slow. And when you're making those guys look slow, you know you're going to do the same thing to NFL defenders. That's why if Sean Payton believes Henderson is the guy at pick 20, then go get him. Forget the noise about reaching. Just like with Bo Nix, the critics can talk, but results speak louder. If Henderson turns out to be a star, no one will care about where he was drafted. They'll care that Denver got it right. Of course, Ashton Jeanty is a beast too. But let's be honest, he's doing it on the blue turf at Boise State. That's not the same as running over top-tier defenses in deep playoff games or national championship settings. So when you're choosing between freak talents, level of competition does matter. Henderson's done it against the best. Now shifting gears to another big storyline, Aaron Rodgers. He recently went on Pat McAfee's show and didn't hold back. He called out the Jets' dysfunction in a big way. From a Denver perspective, that's one less AFC team to worry about long term. A team in chaos usually stays there for a while, and that can only help the Broncos. The interview also made one thing clear. Rodgers is on his way out. He talked like someone who already has one foot out the door. As Troy Renck pointed out, if a player is mentally halfway gone, you don't want them leading your team. This also affects teams like the Steelers. Rodgers had been rumored to be their backup plan, but after that interview, that door looks shut. Now Pittsburgh might be in the market for a quarterback again. Same with the Saints. And here's where it gets interesting. Those teams could try to jump ahead of Denver to grab a quarterback, which puts the Broncos in a perfect position. They could trade back, still land their top guy, and pick up more assets along the way. That's where George Payton thrives. He's made a name for himself by turning extra picks into real contributors. At the end of the day, this all points to one thing. The Broncos are in a fantastic spot heading into the draft. Sean Payton is all in. He's energized. He's obsessed with this process in the best way. And when that kind of passion meets preparation, something special happens. This could be the best draft in Broncos history. And honestly, it feels like everyone in the building believes that too.